Teal Nation, it's time for another episode of the Chant Pod presented by Revolution Mortgage. Hey everybody, I'm Sam Wiederhaft, and wow, spring sports are here, campus is popping, and the vibes couldn't be higher. We have a lot to talk about in today's episode, but we're going to make a stop with women's basketball because they are on a roll. 6 wins in a row for the ladies, and they're now challenging for a top spot in the Sun Belt standings. Head coach Kevin Pederson was at the airport when I talked to him ahead of their matchup with Marshall, which they would eventually win. So let's go ahead and hear my conversation with Coach Pederson and how his team is putting it all together at the right time. We are taking the Chant Pod presented by Revolution Mortgage on the road for the very first time. Coastal women's basketball is in the Atlanta airport, and they are feeling it as of late. 5 consecutive victories, and we're talking to a guy who's probably feeling pretty good right now. Head coach Kevin Pederson. Coach, you guys are just on it right now. 5 consecutive wins, a great season in the middle of February. Just tell me how the team is feeling right now.
Yeah, we said this before. I just think there's good vibes. I think there's really good vibes going through this team right now. I keep going back to the James Madison game. That was such a pivotal week for us, where we played what we felt like was our worst game of the season against Georgia State. Then really kind of came together, talked about some things, hit the reset button, and then played a really strong game against James Madison. Just came up a little bit short there in the fourth quarter. And then since then, I think that's when the win streak started. We've won every game since James Madison. So what you're seeing right now is a group of young women they get along really well. They're pulling their rope in the same direction. Last night at halftime, we weren't pleased with how we were playing, and it's a nice feeling. As I'm talking with the team, you see a lot of everyone's in agreement, everyone's on the same page, and then you see us come together and play a strong second half to get a good road win. So I just think we've got a group that realizes we got to that point of the season where they realize they're playing for something, and everybody is willing to do whatever it takes to get where they want to get to.
What are some of those things that those small things that have maybe been refined as the season's gone on? I mean, how has this team kind of come together and just improved as an entire unit to where they're at now?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things we've had to improve on. Rebounding has been an issue for us, and so I think one of the things has been okay, we can't win the rebounding battle every game, but can we be good at what we're good at? Turnover margin last night, we were I think plus 11 in turnover margin last night. That's been a strength for us. So I just think you're seeing them come in, and we recognize we've got a lot of different players who can step up at different times. So Savannah Brooks gets Player of the Week. Lancia Ramsey goes off last night. Kristen Williams 3 games ago goes off. So it's like you're seeing different players. Jaden Marable's has just been steady Eddie. Like she's as consistent as she can be. So, and we're doing all of this with Mallory Bruce, who's been sidelined for a few games now, and the flu bug's been going through the team. So I think the biggest thing is just seeing it's the depth of this team. It's just seeing that it's not, you can't just focus on one player on this team. We're having a lot of different people step up from game to game and finding different ways to win. We've won low scoring games. We've won high scoring games. We've won the boards. We've lost the boards. So I think this team's doing a good job of being creative and how they can win a game.
Yeah, coming off a 67-56 win over Georgia Southern on Wednesday of this week. And you mentioned it, Lancia Ramsey went off a career-high 28 points. Just what did you see from her in that performance, and how much has she grown as this conference season goes on, because she's become such a force down low and can shoot from outside as well?
Yeah, I think the big thing with Lancia is she's been so, like you said, she's been so locked in. And I remember telling her a couple months ago, I'm like, Lance, like, we go as you go. We really do. I really believe, like, she is such an emotional leader of this team. And that's one thing we challenged her many weeks ago. Hey, I need you to be locked in, because when you're locked in, everybody else is going to be right there with you. And boy, she's been incredible. She's been speaking up. Like at halftime yesterday, as I'm talking about what we need to do, she's nodding her head and she's like, and she's echoing things. And I think that's so important for a team to go anywhere. There's always going to be times where maybe the players see things differently than the coach. That's normal. But when you're in the heat of the battle, you've got to have everybody on the same page, and you need those echoes, and you need that player leadership. And I think that's where you're seeing, like, Lancia is really recognized. Unlike last year, it's like, okay, I'm kind of learning as I go. This year, it's really been, okay, this team needs me to step up and be a different player, to be a leader on this team. And that's not easy to do as a sophomore. And she's done an incredible job, because last night, what I hate, what doesn't show up in the box score, is she wasn't just filling the stat sheet with points and rebounds. She was doing an incredible job defensively. She had, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 deflections, a couple steals. Like, she was not only our best offensive player, she was our best defensive player last night as well.
in that game against Georgia Southern. She goes 9 of 9 from the free throw line. And I'm sure you saw it, but after the Buffalo game, with the fourth quarter struggles at the free throw line, Lancey was at the line after the game with all the fans on the court. She was at the line practicing those free throws. But your team was 100% at the line against Georgia Southern, 18 of 18 after a 14 of 29 game against Buffalo. Just how much attention was spent on that after that Buffalo game?
Well, we talked about it in practice. And one thing we told the players is I just wanted them to know, I said, guys, I believe we have a really good free throw shooting team. And I said, I just need you guys to understand a couple of things. I said, our staff is here, whatever we can do. If you need someone to rebound, if you need someone to work with you, we're here 24/7, whatever you need to do to help you. I said, but with that said, at the end of the day, I said, I need everybody on the team to recognize there's only one person who can solve this problem. And it's not a coach, it's the player. And I said, just know we're here to support you. We believe in you. We think we think we're a great free throw shooting team across the staff. So we just really challenged them. We're like, guys, you've got to tackle. I said, maybe it's a mental thing. Maybe it's not a mental thing. Maybe it's a rep thing. Maybe it's not a rep thing. I said, only you, each individual knows why it is you're not fulfilling your potential with free throws. And I said, so we just kind of challenged them a little bit and just said, but listen, we believe in you. We're here to support you. And we did. We practiced free throws since that game, but we shoot free throws a bunch. So I don't think that's it. I think you saw players really stepping up and understanding how important their role is in free throw shooting, and just I think sometimes just need to be reminded, hey, wait, I'm in control of this. This is something I can control. And I think once you saw that, I think they stepped up and did what they know they can do.
I want to go back to that Buffalo game because, again, you guys miss a ton of free throws there in the fourth quarter. You only scored 6 points in that first quarter, and Buffalo, coming into that game, had only lost 3 games all year. They were ranked right in the middle of the women's basketball mid-major poll, a really strong team coming out of the MAC. You guys pull out the victory. Just tell me how you guys were able to do that and how big that was for your team.
Yeah, Buffalo's a great team. I have a lot of respect for the way they run their program, the way they're coached. Like they were one of the toughest defensive teams we played. So coming into that game, we knew it was going to be tough. When we drew that, we got Central Michigan with our first game, and they've gone on to be better than what people thought they were. But we knew coming in we were going to get the first or second best team in the MAC based on where our net ranking was. And so we knew coming in. I know the ESPN odds makers had us as underdogs in that game. And I think that's kind of been the strength of this team all year long is everyone in that locker room believes we're going to win every game we step on the floor. We felt that when we stepped on the floor against NC State, we knew there was a scenario where we could win that game. And I think that is worth so much in of itself right there. So that's what I think you've seen a lot is if we've hit this 5-game win streak is just the belief in each other, the belief in what we're doing together. And that's going to be important as we come down the stretch. There's no such thing as an easy game in the Sun Belt. I just watched South Alabama take Georgia State to double overtime, and South Alabama has 1 win, and there's no one in this league that wants to play them right now. So it's every night, whether you're home or away, is going to be a tough battle. So we've got 5 games coming up, 4 at home, which will be nice, but even the home games are tough in this league.
The number that I love with this team is at the HTC Center this year, you're 11-1. Yeah. And I've said it on the broadcast numerous times how lively the crowds have been, how loud it is, how many more people are there this year. Just from your perspective, how have those home crowds changed those home games?
Phenomenal. Like I said, I give Chance Miller a lot of credit for that. We've been so appreciative of the efforts that he's leading since he took the job here to do that. Our attendance has been way up from what it's been since I've been here. I'll continue to say, I still like to see more students get there. We're going to keep challenging the students to come out and see us. The community has been amazing. The people in the community continue to come in. And it's like, I know from the drum we've been beating from the summer, we kept telling people, if you'll come watch this team, I think you're going to want to come see him again. And luckily they bought into that because the people who are showing up continue to show up. So we just have to continue to get people in the arena because our job's not to get them in the arena. Our job is when they get to the arena is to give them something they're going to want to come back and see again. And so we appreciate the people who are doing their job to get them in the arena. And we just need to keep showing up and doing our job to give them a style of basketball and a level of intensity where they're going to want to continue to keep coming back to the HTC Center to support these young women.
We're certainly doing a good job of that. Some really, really entertaining games at home this year. Recently, Coastal just announced the Support Her endowment launched by the Sage family.
Yes.
Kind of tell me how that's going to impact your program and what you're looking forward to with that.
Yeah, well, David Sage is an incredible supporter of our program and Coastal Athletics in general. He when we went to Greece, he went with us, and so that was so much fun. We got a chance to listen, when you're in just your bathing suit and you're on a boat with someone, you get to know them in a different way than when you just see them in a game set in your sidelines. And listen, and David Sage, to his credit, man, that was the first dude to take his shirt off when we got on that boat and just have a good time. So he's an incredible person. So him and Marlon, what they do, like, we're so thankful to have them. As far as how that's going to impact our program, that hasn't exactly, we haven't been made aware of that yet. So I can't give you financial things or there. I'm not sure. But I'll say this much: just having David Sage around our program impacts our program. He's incredible. His family's love and support for this university impacts our program and everyone else who goes to Carolina in such a positive manner. And just is a friend. He's always so good to come up, and he never has a negative word to say. He's always positive. He's always encouraging. You just can't have enough people like David in supporting your program.
Yeah, what does that mean as a head coach and a leader of a program to be able to have an endowment started like that and receive support from the university and just, have that belief instilled in what you guys can do?
It's tremendous. It's one that I've told David, and Kelly, and the work Kelly's done with David and hooking him up with us is, since I've been at Coastal, we're in year 3. Outside of family and personal friends, we haven't had an outside donor step up and support our program. He's really the first one and the only one to do that. So it means a lot to us. And I've told him, hope you can bring some friends with you. We need some more help in that area. So in a world of generating revenue, we need that help, because the way the game's going, we have players we need to continue to support in monetary fashion. So David is he's incredible. And I can't say enough good things about him and what he does for our program.
Talking with Chanticleer women's basketball head coach Kevin Pederson on the Chant Pod, presented by Revolution Mortgage. Right now, you guys are in the Atlanta airport after playing Georgia Southern. You're going up to play Marshall later on this weekend. Coach, in your many years of being a basketball coach, what's been your favorite airport to go through?
Man, there's been so many of them. That's a great question. Of course, I'm not going to lie. I'm partial to our home airport. I love the Myrtle Beach airport. You got a Chick-fil-A and you got a Nacho Hippo. So I don't know what else you can really ask for.
Yeah.
But a favorite airport, I mean, I've been London, Athens. I've been all over the world. You know what? It's every year we go down. I'd say the Nashville airport was great because you get great music in Nashville. So I'm kind of partial to that one. But I'd also say the New Orleans airport is a really cool place. If you got to spend some time, I think New Orleans that's one of the ones at the top of my list.
Baltimore, I think, gets slept on too. I love going through Baltimore. I'm
BWI.
Sure you've been through there multiple times.
Many times. There, of course, that's close to home for me. So my grandmother would pay for my family to come up every summer and visit her, and we go do some things. Go into DC, go to an Orioles game. And so there was always a special flight from Greenville, Spartanburg to BWI. So I've been there many times. You're right. It doesn't get enough credit. People sleep on that airport.
That's right. It's got an Auntie Anne's, which I'm a huge fan of. So
absolutely.
Give me a cinnamon pretzel and I'm good. I mentioned you guys play Marshall on Saturday to try and keep the win streak going. Marshall's had a tough year. You already beat them at the HTC Center. You're now playing them on the road. What do you have to do on Saturday to come back to Conway with a win?
Well, I think the key thing with Marshall is they play really well. You got Willie Mays Hayes. I'm a huge Major League Baseball fan. And so they don't have Willie Mays Hayes, but they got Hayes and they got Mays. So luckily there's no Willie on that team. But Hayes and Mays are what they're doing on a night-in, night-out basis is incredible. They're putting up points, rebounds, assists. They're really tough. So I know we talked about this first time we played Marshall. They may have 2 wins in the league, but trust me, they're an extremely talented team. They beat us on the offensive boards 12-5 last time we played them. So I think you have to start the conversation there. We have to rebound better when we play them. We gave up our third quarter was a little bit rougher than I'd like to see when we played them. So I just think it starts with their defense. Anytime you go on the road, I hate to ever go on the road and say, okay, let's win this with our offense. Defense travels. Now, any gym you play in, there's no reason you can't be good defensively. So maybe you don't like the rims, maybe you don't like the way the lighting is in the gym, but that should never affect your defense. So then we got to go in there and we got to bring Coastal Chaos on the road. We've got to create turnovers. We've got to win that margin. We've got to attack the free throw line. If we can do that, that's a start. But it's just throw the records out. This is going to be an incredibly competitive game. We got to play well to win at Marshall.
That game is on Saturday from Huntington, West Virginia at 1 o'clock Eastern time. You come back home against Georgia Southern on Wednesday at 6 o'clock from the HTC Center. Coach, always love talking to you. Continue this streak. We love watching you. And congratulations on the success so far this year.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. And I appreciate all of our Chanticleer fans out there for supporting us. It's been a great ride so far. We're going to continue to work hard for everybody. So we hope they'll show up again. We got 4 home games to close the year out. We hope to see them there.
So that is now 6 W's in a row for the Chants, and they would win that game against Marshall on Saturday, 66-57. They're now 19-6 and 9-5 in Sun Belt play, tied for 4th in the conference standings. It's a great week to see the hottest team in the conference at home. They'll take on Georgia Southern on Wednesday at 6 p.m. and the number 2 team in the Sun Belt, Arkansas State, on Saturday at 1 in a top-tier matchup at the HTC Center. So come out and support the red-hot Chants. You heard what Coach said about the home crowds this year. That'll definitely make a difference in these 2 games this week. Men's basketball hits the road for 2 games this week at Southern Miss on Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time and at Troy on Saturday at 4:30. Both those games will be on ESPN+. It's been a wild weekend on campus. My voice is about gone from the baseball games this week. There's been action everywhere around the TD Sports Complex. We just wrapped up that opening weekend for baseball. Baseball at the beach was a huge success for the Chants. They beat St. Joseph's Friday, Kansas State Saturday, and Washington Sunday. One more game against Kansas State Monday. Then it's a midweek matchup with Charleston on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. The Palace was rocking as we started the new season and a new era for Coastal Carolina baseball under head coach Kevin Schnall. There's plenty more memories to be made at Springsbrook Stadium this year. Just across the way, softball continued their early season matchups with a big win over Notre Dame on Friday and a doubleheader sweep over Marist and Kent State on Saturday. The Chants are now 6-2 to begin their season. They're going to head to Atlanta this weekend for the I-75 tournament to face Kentucky, Georgia Tech, and Kennesaw State. Our guest from a few weeks ago was head women's lacrosse coach Rachel Shuck-Witten, and their season is officially underway. They've started 1-2 in the first 3 games, and they'll face Gardner-Webb on Friday on the road at 4 p.m. Women's tennis is in action this week against Charleston Southern at home on Thursday. Men's tennis will also be over at the Stevens Tennis Complex on Friday against Campbell. And men's golf is hosting the Duel at the Dunes on Wednesday over at the Dunes Golf and Beach Club in Myrtle Beach. There you have it. Welcome to the madness of crossover season. Thank you to Coach Pederson for coming on live from the Atlanta airport. His team has been so fun to watch this season. I cannot wait to see them again this week in some big matchups. Enjoy the action this week, Teal Nation. I'm Sam Wiederhaft, and as always, Chants up.